Is college still necessary? Well, here are three jobs that you can get without a 4 year degree that make more than the national average. Semi owner operator, a truck driver, can make six figures. An elevator installer and repair person can make six figures. Believe it or not, a manager at Pep Boys can make $72,000 based on Indeed.com. I actually have it on good authority that with bonuses, you can make six figures working at Pep Boys. Let me know, what do you think? Is a college degree still necessary? This is Dr. Roderick Claybrooks with Real Health. And I recently did a YouTube video entitled A Doctor Can't Find a Job. I'll leave a link to that video in the description. I would love for you guys to go back and watch it. It may provide a little bit of context to what we're talking about today. But if you haven't seen the video, someone responded, and I'd like to elaborate on that and kind of have a discussion. The response goes like this: with all due respect, this is a not so smart question and topic. What life can a person have with only a high school diploma? Let's talk about it. So, national median income. Any of you guys take a guess what that is? Okay. As of second quarter 2025, national median income was $62,192. Now, that's individual income. That is not household income. Okay. So, when you're doing your research, please make sure you understand there's a difference between mean income and median income. For the purpose of this discussion, we are talking about median income, which is considered to be a more accurate indicator of actual income. When you talk about mean income, people on the higher end actually skew the numbers. So we're talking about median income. So if you talk about median household income, that number jumps up to $80,610. And that's based on census.gov data from 2023. The most recent data we have from the government. Obviously, two incomes are better than one, and building wealth is easier when you're married. Separate conversation for a separate day. But if you're serious about building wealth, it is more difficult to do it as a solo project. Trust me on that. So, why even pose the question, is college still necessary? Because the topic is gaining a lot more traction for a few reasons. Number one, the rising cost of education. Number two, the level of student loan debt. And number three, a significant number of college graduates that do not work in their chosen degree field. So this is very, very important. Let's just look at the rising cost of education. Now, I'm a physician. I went to medical school a really long time ago, along with Fred Flintstone. When I went to medical school, tuition was about 9,600 bucks or something like that for an entire year. The last time I checked at my alma mater, the medical school that I went to, the tuition was about $25,000. And that may not be an up to date figure. I'm just saying the last time I checked, it was about $25,000. So in a very short period of time, tuition rose at my school significantly. Not to mention, as you can imagine, cost of housing and things of that nature, as well as transportation. So the rising cost of education is a really, really big, big topic. As it relates to uh, student loan debt is over $1 trillion. So think about saddling yourself with, in some cases, five, six figures worth of debt. It's very, very important to really ask yourself the question: is it worth going to college? Because you need to be able to understand the probability of being able to pay that money back. In that prior video, we did something called an ROI, or we discussed what ROI was, which is return on investment. So if you're going to go in a significant amount of debt to obtain an education, you need to do an ROI analysis to see if you can pay that money back. And as I stated, there are a lot of people who actually go to college and then end up not working in their chosen field of study. So that's very, very important to consider. Now, there's an old proverb that reads, "He who walks with the wise will be wise." And the reason I bring that out is that I encourage people to seek mentors and wise counsel when considering their future path. Why do we need mentors? Well, mentors have made lots of mistakes. They speak from a lived experience, and they can help you prevent pitfalls. Now, think about this. In my day, Muhammad Ali was the biggest boxer around. In fact, he coined himself the greatest of all time. That was his nickname for himself. Well, even though he was the greatest and the biggest boxer at the time, he had a coach in his corner. He had the talent, he had the skill, he had the raw ability, but he still had a coach. Michael Jordan, in many people's books, the greatest basketball player of all time, still had coaches throughout his career. In fact, when he retired from the Bulls the final time, he stated the reason that he was retiring is because his coach wasn't coming back. So the greatest boxer of his time, maybe in history, and the greatest basketball player of his time, maybe in history, required a mentor or a coach to get the most out of them. You and I are no different. I tell people all the time, I've had mentors at pretty much every stage of my development, both professional as well as personal. When I got into college and decided that I wanted to pursue a career in medicine, I had mentors who were medical students at the time I was in college, kind of coaching me and telling me what to do, encouraging me, and counseling me on the next appropriate steps. Once I got into medical school and realized that I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon, I sought out orthopedic surgeons to mentor me and to counsel me and to coach me. And once I got into residency and fellowship, it just goes on and on and on. And so I've had mentors throughout my life, and you don't have to have mentors only for one particular discipline. I've had professional mentors, personal mentors, spiritual mentors. I mean, we need people in our corner that can coach us and help us along the way. So don't discourage wise counsel. And I think that it's easy to come to the conclusion on one side or the other when we are our own counsel. But it's very important to seek out other people and see what they think because they may have different experiences and they may be able to shed light, on something that we never really had the time to really think through. So, what about the comment? I appreciate the comment because it probably comes from a place of genuine concern and doubt. This is what make these conversations actually necessary because we need to hash out the details. As they say, the devil is in the details. But facts are our friends. And so I laid out the facts of what the national median income is. I gave you some alternatives to going to get a 4-year degree that can allow you to earn above that median income. But I'll read the comment again. With all due respect, this is a not so smart question and topic. What life can a person have with only a high school diploma? Let me give you another option. An electrician. The current average income for an electrician is $62,350. And this is based on data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics. That's on par with the national average, right around the same amount. Now, this is certainly something to consider, and no college degree is required to become an electrician. So, why do I bring this up? Because of the expected rise in AI, it's expected we'll need more electricians. Why? Because we'll need more power. AI is computer based. Computers require electricity. Thus, we'll need electricians. The estimate is that we'll need 11% more electricians than we currently have. So, in general, when you have an increased demand, in general, there's an increase in salary. So if you don't have a 4-year degree and you're not considering something like an electrician, maybe research and look into it because it may be something that appeals to you and provides some opportunity. Now, does increased education improve your chances of increased income? Absolutely, it does. In no way am I suggesting that having more education doesn't give you a better chance of earning more income. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just posing the question because everybody, first of all, can't go to college. It's very expensive. Everybody doesn't want to go to college. And everybody just doesn't have the opportunity. Maybe your life circumstances, maybe you're a caregiver, maybe you just have other obligations or things going on that just don't provide you with the opportunity to go to college. I don't want you to feel like it's a lost cause, that you can never earn, that you can't survive, you can't eat because you don't have a 4-year degree. I think we all understand that having a 4-year degree, depending on the ROI, gives you a better chance of earning, but there are also options for those who choose not to. But the key is ROI. You have to make sure you can afford to go to school. Now, say you don't want to get a 4-year degree, but you are willing to get some education after college. You can get an associate's degree. Here are 3 jobs that require an associate's degree that pay more than the national average income. Number 1, air traffic controller can make $137,000. Number 2, nuclear technician can make $100,000. Third, dental hygienist can make $87,000. So maybe you say, well, I don't want a 4-year degree, but maybe I can squeeze out a 2-year degree, an associate's degree. There are more options to consider. So the question I have is college still necessary? I want you to have this conversation with your friends. I'd like to know what you think. Please leave a comment. Please share with somebody that you care about, and please subscribe to the channel. This is Dr. Roderick Claybrooks, and this is Real Medicine. Thank you for watching.